Welcome back, everybody. We're on episode 24, and today we are going to be talking about the new energies and the new empath. That's the empath who is the mirror instead of the sponge, and how we are grounding the new energies into our new empathic way of being. So the number one thing that I got when we were sitting in the space for receiving the podcast today is that we've been talking so much about how all of the energies, it's such new energy and the high frequency energies that are being grounded into our planet and thereby our bodies into us. And we a few episodes back we got really in depth about an empath and what it means about soaking everybody's energies and feelings and just soaking up what is theirs. And I just their whole journey. We tend to soak up their whole journey. Um, and that's a old way of looking at an empath. I'm just gonna say it that way. The old empath and the new empath. So the old empath, we tend to think of um, we've really been conditioned actually to think this is a great thing. The empath who just feels everybody's feelings and emotions and just soaks it up and experiences it as their own. And you take on those feelings and you process them through your own body, and running that through your own body turns it into your experience instead of the other person's experience. Um, so that we've been taught to feel as though that is a good thing, is to honorable. It's very honorable to feel somebody else's journey with them and go right down into the mud with them. And um, I would like to say it's not. Um, the whole empathic, biologically, physiologically, biologically, we all have the empathic ability. It's a human trait that it's more developed in others than not. Is We kind of touched on that in our previous podcast when we talked about the trauma-induced empath. And this, a lot of us are there. And what we did is we learned to gauge the room, to gauge the people around us and what they were feeling, because to keep ourselves out of danger, right? And so that became a very honorable, highly regarded way of using the empathic faculties. When indeed, if you really think about it, if your friend comes to you with a problem and you just jump right in and you go down into the depths of that emotional turmoil with them, what good are you doing them? Mm? So a better use of the empathic faculties, especially at this point, because they've been strengthened on this end now, is to mirror, act as a mirror. Don't soak it all up like a sponge. You look at their feelings, you recognize that's how they feel about it. You can even understand why. But to put yourself in the emotional range of experiencing it with them is not helping for two reasons. It isn't helping them feel their own feelings. You are enabling them to give it to you, and then you do it. It's not your journey. So now your body and your physiology is processing a bunch of everything that is not yours, which is disrupting your path. It's disrupting what you are supposed to be doing with you. And so as opposed to soaking that up and processing it for somebody, which by the way is called being codependent, because you're enabling them to dump on you. You're doing their journey for them. Nobody's winning. You're not doing your journey. They're not doing their journey. Nobody's winning. So the new empath would be more like a friend comes and says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so upset. This happened and da 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 da. And I feel like this and it triggered this. And I just feel like it's never going to end. And it's just, when is it going to be my turn? Na na." And you, instead of soaking it all up and, "Oh my gosh, what can I do? How can I fix it?" That is the number one thing to get rid of. How can I fix it for you? Can't, you shouldn't, should take it out of your head now. That should be gone. Work on that one. Do not try to fix things for anybody. Do you? And so if you move that thought out of the way, what's left? Pure empathy. You see it, you understand why they feel that way, but you're not going to jump in and experience it for them. You just hold it. And I mean, simple things, you're still there for them. I mean, Clementine, if you tell me something, and they say, "I understand how you feel. I understand why you feel that way." I'm not jumping into it with you and go, "Oh yeah, that's so bad. And da, 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 oh, that feeling, it's the worst feeling ever. And it lasts forever." Did you see that kind of thing? We're just digging a hole with each other. So it's like, okay, so I understand how you feel, but did it do you any good? No, because now we're both down in the deep mud, right? But if I say, "Clementine, I know how that feels," and then I just leave it there, that opens the door for you to have a safe space to explore your own journey and your own meanings for whatever it is that you're bringing to the table, right? So that's what I'm referring to as the new empath is the one who will stand strong in your own center and simply mirror back to the other person so that they can have their journey. So the new empathic strength is the strength to stay strong and just hold the space for the other person to have their own journey. And the empath is no longer micromanaging the journey for the other person. Want to throw anything in there?
I will throw something in here. I want to tell what Robin told just now a little bit in my way. First of all, an empath is a very sensitive person. And as Robin said, an, an empathy is a human trait, so everybody can be empathic, but the ones who really live it and it's a trademark of them, that are the most of the time very sensitive beings, and they have become so sensitive, or they are born this way, but they use their sensitivity in a way that's not helping them and also not helping the one you are trying to help. And what Robin talked about a little bit is and where we talked about in the empathy podcasts more about practically all empaths, or the very good empaths, is trauma based. So recap a little bit of this trauma is that there where you are born was not safe to show yourself. So what you are doing is you are trying to be that bright light who is helpful and for everybody there. And so that nobody can become angry of you or whatever. So that you are the nicest person you know in this earth. What happens with that is that, as Robin said, you soak in all the energy from the people around you, so you can trying to help them in the way where they are. But that soaking of that energy, that comes also in your body, comes in your whole system, and therefore, for instance, your digestive system is trying to digest other people's shit. I'm sorry, that's the way it came out. And so that can be that your digestive system for that is not working, especially when you do this already for years and years and years. Then all the time, the you who are you, the person you are, is not in your life. It's it is perhaps even not in your body. But every energy from what is surrounding you is in your body, and therefore you can become or get many problems. Always tired, for instance. What I already said, digestive system. Um, you call it, and yes, you can have problems there because you don't live your own life. You are almost never in your own energy. And not being in your own energy is making you sick. And that's one of the I want to say it's one of the most important parts to stop, but it's not only that part, it's also the part that what Robin said already, you try to fix the other, or you want to make the lives of the other people. It's not always the emotional stuff that people come to you, but it's also making coffee for somebody else. So um, you can be an empath in all kinds of different ways, and um, what you do, it feels very good. It feels very friendly. It feels very nice for yourself. I'm a nice person for yourself, but also for the people you are helping or trying to help. But it's not helping because what Robin said already, you take something from them away as far as that possible. But when they come with a whole emotional baggage towards you and you want to help them by taking that baggage from them, and you try to digest it in your system, what is not possible, so you get problems. But those emotional things that people come with is something that they have to learn. That is a kind of lesson. It's a kind of help for those people to find their own way. So you're taking their lesson, their way to find their own way, you take that away from them. Um, you want the best for those people, but you don't do the best for those people. And by becoming a mirror, so that was the old way. First of all, you have to find in yourself, is my empathic being, is that trauma-based? There you have to look at and do it in the way we said it in last podcast. Look at it. Don't become it. Look from a distance to it, and stay friendly. Don't judge it. Don't do anything. You did it because you were not safe where you were born. So stay very friendly, stay very gentle towards yourself. this was your way out of that situation. This was your survival mechanism. But in the here and now, this survival mechanism does more harm to you than it help you, does more harm to the other than it's helping the other. And so healing is looking from a distance to it, let the energies do the work, and just look and it will evaporate and it's gone. But you have to be conscious, focused on it from a distance. Otherwise, nothing will happen. And then the new empath, where Robin was talking about, is the empath that is mirroring. And what does that mean? By mirror, when you want to be a mirror for somebody else, the mirror can only speak the truth. That is the base of being a mirror. When you are not ready to speak the truth, just grow in it. But being a mirror, it means somebody is projecting something in that, or that says something, and that mirror is projecting back to the person. And so the person see themselves, and being a mirror means truth, being truthful. And that does not mean that you know the truth for that person, but you have to speak your truth. As you have to speak, and that is something very scary for many people. But that is the world where we are going towards. Saying the truth, you can say it with a lot of compassion. You can say it with a lot of empathy, the healthy empathy. You can say it very friendly. You don't need to be very rough and hard, but you need to speak the truth. That is the only way when you want to be an empathic mirror. Is a mirror. When you want to be a mirror, the mirror is always talking about truth. And to learn that, you have to do this. Look in your own mirror. Learn to speak your own truth. Look and see who you really are. Not that person what your parents said you are. Not that person that a teacher said or your siblings. Eh? The most important thing what the other has learned you is that you are not good enough. But that's not your truth, because you are here in this world. Let me say it different. The proof that you are good enough and that you are enough is that you are here in this world, that you are living, that you are breathing. That is your proof that you are more than good enough. When you look in the mirror, don't look at those things that are not yours. Be truthful to that what is only yours. Nobody else. When you want to be an empathic mirror for other people, you have to do first this. And that's not always nice. It is sometimes even frustrating in the sense of that you lived so many lives of other people. It can be hard. It can be really painful, hard, but there is nothing more than seeing finally your real truth, your real person who you are. That is a part of coming home. Do you want to go on with that, Robin?
Absolutely. So I love this part where you gotta look at yourself first, and you really, really do, especially those who are along the ride of recovering from traumatic empathic expression. We have worn the lies of others for so long that we believe it. We actually believe that that is us. How to move past that is you have to sit in the dark. You've got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable part and just be in it. That is where you find what is really out of harmony with yourself. And
Can I interrupt
those are
very
hard.
short? Can I interrupt very
Absolutely.
shortly? Robin is saying sitting in the dark. Many people are running away already when somebody is saying that. Sitting in the dark is home. You have you have learned, many people in power, it comes from it is already thousands and thousands of years that they make darkness bad, that they make darkness, you need to be scared for it. That is the truth you have to face also. The darkness is your home. So don't run away from your darkness. Robin.
And just think, the first thing we learn is, in the beginning, said, let there be light, which means home is in the dark. We come from the dark. We were in the dark. Okay. So, and I also mean the dark as in that space in between of your goals, where I had a plan and I was working on it and I was going this way and everything was going great, and now everything is falling apart. I don't know what comes next. That in between space right there, I also call that the darkness, and you have to get comfortable. All of the everything that we talk about, the cycles, the new moon, the planetary shifts, the new frequencies, everything runs the same cycle. A cycle is a cycle. And you have a beginning, you have a building part, you have where it comes to fullness, and then you have a dissolution part. That is every cycle, and that's how life works. There is a dark part of that cycle, both on both ends, coming in and going out. And to recognize your own truth, you need to sit in that darkness and just be in there and be willing to be open, open and vulnerable. That's the hardest part, is to really, because then you start coming to the trust. That's a big one for everybody. Um, and you have to be able to sit in that darkness with yourself, with no expectations and no judgments, and observe, what do I feel, what do I see, what what thoughts are running through my head, which ones do I hold on to, why am I holding on to some for so long, does it still serve me, do I actually really still resonate with those thoughts. A lot of them we just don't, because they weren't ours to start with. We've just worn them for so long, we think they are, right? So you gotta get in the darkness and start getting comfortable with what really is and really is not yours. There's really nothing to do after that. It's just the recognition. There's not a process to do, and there's no changes. You will just, the awareness, bringing awareness to the fact that that's not mine, is all you have to do. And then you get to a point where you're just stronger and stronger in who you actually are. And then that's what we call grounded. And then you're grounded in you, not what someone else has told you, or even the you that you try to be to match the people around you. Because here's my the fix it part. Okay, when somebody comes, and I always don't want somebody else to be uncomfortable. That's always my thing. I don't want somebody to be uncomfortable. It's okay for me to be uncomfortable, but not them. It's- no, it isn't. No, it isn't. And that's a really hard one because, like you said, trauma empath, I have built my entire lifetime around making sure people around me weren't uncomfortable. And that is not my purpose in life. If you are uncomfortable, it's something for you to fix, not me, not me. And so once you start identifying with those in the patterns and the thoughts, the patterns of your thoughts are so, so, so important. That is probably one of the biggest barriers to being grounded is the patterns of your own thoughts, those that aren't yours, the ones that you're wearing for so long that you think are yours, but they're not. And in that dark space, you want to become aware of, okay, if you're observing your thoughts are coming and going, right? But you are still there watching the thoughts come and go. Well, then that means you're not the thoughts, and we are not our thoughts. We don't generate our thoughts from our brain. We receive them from the greater consciousness. And that can be, the little bubble of consciousness that's around us, our family consciousness, and you go wider, the community consciousness, you go wider, your social cultural consciousness, you go wider, planetary, on and on. So what consciousness are you holding on to? So the thoughts, you are not your thoughts. You are choosing to hold on to the thoughts. So consciously choose to hold the ones that you wish to define you in the now. And once you consciously grab a couple of those thoughts for yourself that you really like, nurture those. Those are your seeds for your future, right? So grab a couple thoughts that you really like mine. It is not my responsibility to make other people comfortable. I tell myself that every day now. It's not comfortable yet. And I'm not, I know it, but it's not a realization yet. So I'm still practicing. But I'm proud of myself because I don't immediately like have that initial react, that physical reaction you have when you just need to fix something for somebody. And so I'm past that part. I'm proud of that. But I still kind of go like, should I? Am I supposed to do that? And it's like, no, I am not. When I do, I do. But that it comes from a completely different place. It doesn't come from a should I. It comes from a place of, oh, I already have that figured out. And I have an excess of that energy that I can share. Whether they receive it or not is up to them. So I can just kind of put it out there, but in a manner that I'm not responsible for making them feel better anymore. So you grab your thoughts that you want to become your new seeds, just one or two, and stay with them and nurture them. And something like that, it makes a huge, huge difference to the core. And then I hold on to that. And then once I'm strong in that, it'll unfold into another layer of, well, empowerment, really, my own unfoldment of discovering my true self. And then once I get strong in that, that's what I call grounded. And then I remain grounded in me. 'Cause I'm always going to be the kid that has a head in the ozone. That's not what I mean by being grounded. I am still grounded with my head in ozone, but I this grounding, I mean, you're solid within yourself, that you have identified your true self. You've peeled off the layers of other people's labels and expectations, um, and you've especially peeled off that really tenacious layer of other people's thoughts that you took on as your own and made them your identity. And now that's become comfortable. That's just who I am. Although, if you're saying it like that, you're not really comfortable with it. It's implying an inner disharmony. And what happens there? Well, you're wearing these frequencies that are out of harmony with your true frequencies. That's called dis-ease. And you're building physical diseases. That's what diseases are. All sicknesses. We are out of balance inside. And so get comfortable in the dark, identify your true self, realize you're not your thoughts, and then that's the core of the new empath. That's the empath that mirrors. And once you've looked in your own mirror, right? What makes a mirror is the back part is dark. It's black, right? There's like a glass with black. That means you're going into the darkness. The darkness is going to be everywhere, guys. Darkness is everywhere. Get comfortable with it. It's your friend. And so once you've looked at your own shadow and your own darkness in your own mirror, it just becomes easy to just be that mirror for somebody else because the mirror doesn't judge. It just reflects. And so when somebody is walking up to you with all of this stuff that you clearly can see is not them, it's not, they're just triggered and all of this stuff is, just hold the mirror and say, yeah, I see that. I can see that. And just let them have their experience and they will have a much more valuable experience as well because it becomes inner realizations and they've done their own work. And it doesn't matter if somebody is not ready to do that work. You can analyze it, line it all up, step one, step two, step three. This is this, this is this, this is this. This was caused by that. It was triggered by that. It means this, and you can fix it by doing that. And you could give them the whole recipe. It's not going to fix anything because there was no inner realization that went with it. So it didn't do them any good. And it didn't do you any good because you just spent all of that on realizations you've already had for yourself. And yeah, your turn.
My turn. What you also can do um, by looking in your own mirror in the dark is when I ask you, point 10 things where you are not good at. It's very easy for everybody. But now I want 10 things where you are good in.
Hmm.
And then most people stop already by 2. Look in that mirror and especially find your qualities where you are good in. Really good. Not traumatized good. But really are your qualities. And go with that. That is your truth. We haven't learned to look at our qualities. We have learned our whole life where we are not good at. And we have learned that that is our truth. That is not our truth. That is those other people's truth about us. But it's not who we are. Who we are, we have to learn by looking in the mirror and what our qualities are. And the nice thing about doing this with the mirror will not laugh at you. The mirror will not say, "Oh, that's not your truth." Blah, 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 you're not. The mirror is patient. The mirror is will even be happy when it's a little bit too much. But don't hold yourself back. It's even better to be. I don't know what's the word. It say too much. It's over the border rather than underneath. Say it more, and then you will find in time you will find what the real truth is, where your borders from this part where you are good at. So learn to look at where your possibilities, everything where quality lives in you. That's where you have to find in that mirror, and don't be shy. I think that's what I want to say. Don't be shy. Just throw it out there. And the other thing what Robin was saying is by holding back by the example she gave about herself, is what you also can do is when somebody is coming with something and you want to start already, the old you is coming up already and you feel you want to start already to help them, not going there, first of all, and then finding your strength, where your power is, and so the real, not a traumatic empath, but the real empath, and then you can ask, do you want me to help you with that? You all, it's not on you to help the other. It's on you when you have, first of all, you have to know, do you really want to help that person? And do you want to help that person unconditionally? Do you want nothing back for it? Do you want only to help that person? And so those things have to be clear before you ask, do you want me to help you? When that person is saying no, then there shouldn't become any but from you. When that person is saying no, that is their truth. So you have to back up and you have to look in your own mirror again and learn your own things. They said no, they don't want help. And perhaps you are so sensitive and you see that they need help. That's not on you. They have their own truth, and when their own truth brings them deeper in the abyss, then that's their truth and that's the way they have to walk. And that's not nice to see, and that's not that can be even be very painful. But as Robin already said, everybody has to have their own lessons, and it's on nobody else to fix them so they don't have those lessons. And when that
Can I
person
interrupt
is,
right here?
of course,
So we're talking about people needing to feel their own pain. I would like to point out that we as human beings do not change when things are comfortable. So for an empath to try to make this person's path comfortable for them, we're not helping. This person this person that you're giving for an example says, "No, I don't need your help." Yay them. And that's a good answer, because that discomfort is exactly what they need to be feeling to move them out of whatever it is they're outgrowing. And if we make that comfortable for them, they miss the opportunity to do it. And it'll come back around next time it's a little bit harder. So we're, as an empath, achieving the opposite of what we think we're doing. We are making their path harder by trying to do it for them. So, okay, so that was it.
And w- so many empaths are very sensitive people, I already said. And when I look at these times with all these new energies, um, many empaths or many sensitive people will have the feeling that grounding is more difficult. And that that is true. It is way more difficult to ground than a year ago even. But it is a very good thing because the energies that are here, that are grounding us, have changed. And because those energies are less dense, it feels as we are floating now, that we are not grounded anymore. And so you have to learn that those energies are are not that dense, and and you are still grounded, but it feels now not the same as before. I know that Robin knows a lot about this.
I know a lot about this. Everybody's gonna be joining me in the ozone. I like it. So this is all exactly what we're talking, all of our podcasts have been like we started with the return of the authentic feminine. Okay, those are higher frequencies. We've been talking since the podcast started, is what it's been about, is anchoring the higher frequencies into our reality. Every time we talk about a new moon, a full moon, an eclipse, a solstice, an equinox, all of the planetary happenings, we are literally grounding new frequencies. And as you say, like a year ago, our base frequency for Earth frequencies, I know nothing about this. I'm not even going to throw out numbers. So say it's numbers. We're going to go way down with numbers I don't even think actually happened. So it would say 123 is our base frequency a year ago. Well, now our base frequency is going to be more like 234, and we are not going to feel being grounded the same way that we felt being grounded a year ago. Feeling grounded now, if you're looking for the same feeling that you used to have, you're not going to feel grounded. You're going to feel ungrounded. And it is because those dense energies that used to feel grounded, they're still there. They didn't go anywhere, but you have, remember that beautiful visualization you did with us, Clementine, where we brought it up and we brought it in and we crisscrossed at the X, and just like with Mother Earth, and we were there. Okay, so we have incorporated and assimilated, and maybe we've even grown at this point, these new frequencies within our own being. And so now we resonate at a higher frequency. So we are not in resonance with the 1, 2, 3 lower frequencies that we used to ground and now are grounding at 2, 3, 4. You'll get comfortable with that. You'll recognize it. The only way that you recognize that though is to be in it. You have to practice it. And that's a good space for your magic walk. You will find that it's really easy to anchor yourself in your new frequencies out on your magic walk, also very realistically, very tangibly grounding yourself in your magic walk. And that's kind of a good explanation too. Like a year ago, going for a walk was going for a walk. Maybe you had your headphones in, you're powering through, getting some exercises, worked it right in that schedule. Now your walk looks more like, oh, I found a leaf that looks like a heart. I found a feather. Oh, the clouds were doing this. That's that's what I'm trying to demonstrate right there, that the frequency, the base frequency has shifted. So what was grounded back here is grounded here now. And I don't, to me, it doesn't feel uncomfortable at all. I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm like, yes, but to other people who are used to feeling heavier, denser as Clementine, like you, as like, yes, I'm connected. That's the feeling. Sorry, you're it's not going to be so comfortable for you. You'll get used to it. Gra- grab a friend with their head in the ozone, and you'll be okay.
Exactly. And I have to let myself fly by that woman next to me who is always with her head in the ozone. Um, as that was also my experience, that I was um, yeah, frustrated is in too big of a word, but I was searching. I don't feel that grounded anymore. Um, so um, I had to experience. Yeah, I had to experience that self myself. That oh, but at the place where I'm now, I still can communicate very well with Mother Earth. Um, where am I looking for? What is going on? So then I'm starting to talk with the woman who lives in the ozone, also on Earth, and then it becomes clear that that old part of me, that old part of Mother Earth, um, is not our way of communicating anymore. Now we communicate with each other on a higher energy level. So there I need to anchor um, myself now, but it can be that it is 2 months from here. It's even a higher frequency, and so we Earth people have to learn that that what the energy was for thousands of years has changed and will change even more, and we need to change with that. What Robin was saying with that practice, um, for me, that's the way I'm doing it always, at least, is I'm breathing in Mother Earth. I call it not Mother Earth, but Pachamama. For me, that's more the connection with her soul, and I want to connect with her soul. So I breathe in Mother Earth, Pachamama, and I breathe in Cosmic Father, Cosmic Mother. When I want other cosmic beings, then I breathe them in, and and that connection with Mother Earth, and I do it here, but it goes a little bit further down. That connection that comes together directly in my solar plexus, and of course the energies from Mother Earth are going further down, and from the cosmic goes further down. Mother Earth further up and cosmic further down. But that for me is a real connection with upstairs and downstairs, and me. So for me, then I make an trilogy with the cosmic energies, Pachamama's energies, and my own. And the cross is this. That's what Robin had, the cross. And for people, I always see people pointing way too low when they are pointing towards their solar plexus. That is
Mhm,
there where my cross is now.
mhm. I'd like everybody to go for that walk and find their new connection. I think that's a good
Um,
place to stop.
Robin said, calls it magic walks. I call it sometimes, but most of the times I call it medicine walks. And for me, everything do I have, this is my medicine. There is more, but this is my medicine of last week. So for me, it gives, it, oh, I can, let's see more.
I know.
So,
Yes.
I call that medicine, but you can call it whatever helps you the best. Okay. Thank you for watching and listening till the end. Um, we are still very happy to get comments, and we like to give an answer also on these comments. And otherwise, we see you next week. Bye bye.